Does the Home Secretary have your full backing and full confidence?
Well, I work with Suella. She's great. She's a great Home Secretary. But at the Tory party, we are a broad church. You know, we believe in different things. There are voices of conservatism, but also theocratic absolutism, military corporatism, earlier 20th century Tsarism, and despotism. Despots, for example, we work with a lot in the Tory party. We have great deals with oil, with despots, and they even help us play a bit of sport as well, as they own quite a bit of that. So we're not...
Answer the question, which is, do you, as a senior member of this government, have full confidence in Suella Braverman?
I am answering your question. I am answering your question in my way. You know, the Tory party, it's a broad church, and you know, Suella saying hate marches. Well, we're all working towards the marches, and some of us in a conservative ways, some of us in a fascist different way.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is REGANELITE here. How are you all doing? Just wanted to play that little one before we get into the Cabinet Reshuffle, but we have one or two other things I want to address before we go into this. Just gonna say, guys, oh my God, what a crazy day it has been. We've not just had a Cabinet Reshuffle. We had one of our favourite YouTubers was taken down and then comebacks on. We've had Braverman sacked, a YouTuber possibly attacked, but it wasn't an attack, but I'll just put it like that. Cameron is back, and it's just, what on earth is going on today, guys? It's been an absolute bonkers day, and we got a lot to cover, obviously. So so who have we got in the chat today? I'm just going to scroll and see who we got in the chat, and then I'm going to first of all, I'm going to talk about Robespierre, and I'll just give my thoughts on it as well, guys. So 91 Leeds is here. Good evening, 91 Leeds. Hope you had a good weekend. Roseanne is here as well. Good to see you. I hope you had a nice weekend too. Hugh, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Alistair Keir is here. A good friend from Scotland. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Good to see you. Mark Wilkie is here as well. Good to see you too. Hope you're doing well. Jow is here as well. Good to see you, Jow. Hope you're doing well too. Mad Monk is here. Good to see you, Mad Monk. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Hope you're doing well. And everyone's saying hello to each other. Hope you guys are all doing well. I'm sure most of you, some of the other viewers are probably, I'm probably checking, probably on the other live stream. But that's all right. That's all good. They can always catch up later on, guys. As you guys know, before we dive into the Cabinet Reshuffle, I just want to share this. So, as you know, Maximilien Robespierre, he has done a video. I put a link to the video in the description of explaining what exactly happened to him. I have watched the video, so if you want to know exactly what happened, you can check out the link in the description after the live stream. Not now, guys. Do it after the live stream, and he'll explain exactly what happened to his channel. But yeah, he had his content for some reason got flagged, and it's back on now. So it's all well and good. So it's all hunky dory. Max is fine. It's all well and good. So I just wanted to kind of get that there. Now I just want to also point out something as well, because I have a huge amount of love and respect for that man. I really, really do, and I'm not just saying that, guys, because he's a big YouTuber, and he's not just a YouTuber. He's not just a YouTuber. He is a voice for many, many people, and I would go as far to say that he has changed people's lives for the better. I would even go as far to say he's probably saved lives as well. But that's how much I admire and respect the man, because if it wasn't for Max, there's absolutely no question, without a shadow of a doubt, I would not be here today. I would not have a channel. I would not have met the likes of Lee Korn, Cash Dummy, Kendra Thompson, some of the original guys who I've come to know originally from Max's Discord. There would not be a Snowflake show. There would not be the Snowflake server. I would not not have any of this if it wasn't for the YouTube algorithm drawing me to his channel, and when it happened to him this morning that his channel disappeared, I can't tell you how upset I was. I was really, really upset, and obviously, understandably, he was too, because that YouTube channel is his absolute life, is his life, is his lifeblood, and the guy, he really is a top guy, he really is, and I really do, and it does worry me that he's his only source of income, which leads me to something that I wanted to point out, something quite strong, that even though that I'm not a YouTube member and I'm not there yet, and maybe one day I will, who knows, if there's anyone who has a YouTube channel and listens to this, yeah, I really do recommend this. Please try and branch out of YouTube, because that is what I am doing. I'm not just doing content here. I'm doing content on TikTok. I'm doing content for Rumble. I'm doing content, actual content on Patreon too. I am trying to look at, and I'm actually going to look again at trying to set up the streams for Twitch as well, so that I do streaming on here and on Twitch, because if you have multiple social medias, and if you build up a big enough platform, you can gain potential revenues from other sources and not just from one. So that would be my recommendation. And if you look at All Shorts, our good friend All Shorts, who has been attacked a few times by YouTube, you know, he's got multiple YouTube channels, so he has various ways of making incomes from different YouTube channels. So if one goes down, he's got another one to come up on and whatnot, which is really good for him. But the reason why I would recommend that to look at other social media as well is because there may come a day that YouTube may cease to exist. I know it's incredibly unlikely, because it's such a big platform, and it has a lot of power, and it's but I would just strongly advise anyone listening to this who is a YouTuber to please look at alternative options as well as doing YouTube, and branch yourself out of there, because if you can, you give yourself the best chance of, if anything ever happens to YouTube, of continuing to go, which is why I do take this is why I still do this is why I always tell you guys about, I do content on Patreon, and as like I said, you don't need to pay into Patreon. All you have to do is create an account, and you can follow me on there, and you can watch content on there completely free, guys. Same with Rumble. I understand it's a bit of a right wing, but at the moment I'm doing videos on there with regards to Israel and Gaza. If you want my thoughts, if you want a bit more detail on that, all you got to do the same thing again. Create an account. You can follow me on there, and all my main videos here on YouTube are on there as well, so you can watch them on there as well. Some of them may even come on there. All my YouTube shorts that I've done, I've got up to 90 followers on TikTok. You know, if you have YouTube shorts, guys, start putting them on TikTok. It's another potential revenue you could potentially make, you know. And live streams, you know, as well, if you can stream off Twitch, you know, why not? Another potential avenue. There are options out there. So I just wanted to get that out there. Yes, I know some Rumble is not welcome on some places because of the content it is. I know, but the reason I use Rumble is because it's free. That's the way of the things. Yeah, there are some where they put there are barriers in front of them in order for you to upload content to them. So I will be looking at more avenues as time goes on, because the more avenues they come, the better. But just want to put that out there for anyone who may be listening. Obviously, I'm not a YouTube expert, because many of the guys, because of Max, I've come across the likes of All Shorts, Daily Blase, Big Madge Studios, Truth to Power, Michael Lambert, Phil from A Different Bias, Graham Hughes of Labour Social, Lee Corn, as I've said, you know, all these amazing YouTubers. No Justice as well. I'm actually a big fan of her. I know she live streams every day. I'm a big fan of her too. All these YouTubers that I've come to learn from their content, and that it's all come from Max, guys. So that's why I really do hold him in such high regard. And you know, and he gave me a shout out last Tuesday on his live stream, which was absolutely freaking awesome. Didn't get any subscribers from it, but you know, he didn't have to do that. I never asked him to, and he did that. You know, because I don't like piggybacking off other people's channels, but if people want to plug my channel, I'm more than welcome it, guys. So just going to get that out there before we go into the Cabinet Reshuffle. Steve McGowan is here as well. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Colin, are you still from New York? Hope you're doing well, buddy. Hope you had a nice weekend too. Is there anyone I've missed? Jeannie Bottle's here. Jeannie's here. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well, guys. Yeah. So, right. Let's dive into. So first of all, before we go into the, I'll make sure. Before we dive into some of the articles, guys, I'm going to show you this Twitter handle. You've probably been told about this before. This is Haggis UK on Twitter. He has some really great. He's the one who brings up all the clips on whenever it comes to politics and reshuffles and all that kind of stuff. He's very, very good. I'm going to scroll down and have a look at some of the clips and tweets that come across here that. Before we start looking at articles and really diving into the Cabinet Reshuffle. So this one here, guys, if you remember, it looks like Jeremy Hunt is behind Esther McVey's Minister for Common Sense return to the Cabinet. This is what he said back in July the 10th, 2022. I will have Esther McVey as my Deputy Prime Minister, and we will have a formidable campaigning team.
McVey as my Deputy Prime Minister. She's won a lot of elections against Labour in the north. I've won them against Lib Dems in the south, and I think we will be a formidable campaigning team.
Well,
how well did that go, guys? Do you remember that? Do you remember that? This is also another really upsetting thing. So obviously we will talk about David Cameron, but this is quite concerning, to say the least. The Speaker wants to know how David Cameron, Foreign Secretary, will be properly accounted for to the House of Commons. I might not play it just because it's got BBC's name on it, guys. So I'm not going to play that one just for that sake, guys. Just got to be cautious on that. But yeah, he's not happy because David Cameron has no accountability whatsoever here.
I noticed you ducked my question on Greensill there. A specific answer to that question, the Treasury Select Committee branding a significant lack of judgment?
Well, I think all those things were dealt with by the Treasury Select Committee, by other inquiries at the time, and as far as I'm concerned, that is all dealt with and in the past, and I now have one job as Britain's Foreign Secretary, as part of Rishi Sunak's team, to try and make sure this country can be as secure and as prosperous in a difficult and dangerous world.
No. This one here. This is I think this is the leaked Tory WhatsApp message that someone had said as well. Here, this was he's completely gutless and uneducated Foreign Secretary appointed by an unelected Prime Minister. This is a really good one. I like this.
Well, we've had a bit of positive reaction, haven't we, so far from our guests this morning about that appointment of David Cameron, Lord Cameron, to the Foreign Office. I just want to balance that. I've just been leaked a WhatsApp message from a Conservative MP group talking about that appointment. I will resist pointing out, the message says, that David Cameron was mired in Greensill, the largest lobbying scandal to hit the government. He had to resign because he failed to stand up to the EU and is completely gutless. He won't be able to address the House of Commons while we are actually witnessing two major conflicts. And finally, he is an unelected Foreign Secretary appointed by an unelected Prime Minister. Let's see how this one plays out. So that WhatsApp message sent to...
An unelected Foreign Secretary appointed by an unelected Prime Minister, and he's not wrong. They're not wrong. Not wrong in it whatsoever, guys. Just what? I'm just trying to remember if that one was West Street in here. Oh,
he's keeping her on now for the same reason, which is
there's a really good one. Oh yes, here we go. This is this one will get you guys. You may have heard this clip here. I know you guys are going to like this one. Listen very carefully to the. Listen very carefully to it.
In the trade, there she is.
Downing Street, Home Secretary.
You have to get sacked.
Yep.
The answer was yes, she was about to get sacked for the second time. In the trade, there she is.
You're off to Downing Street, Home Secretary.
You have to get sacked.
Yep.
The answer was yes, she was about to get sacked for the second.
It was so good I had to play it twice, guys. So yes, you have to get sacked. So yeah, if you have Twitter, guys, X if you call it, yeah, follow Haggis UK. He has all the fantastic videos there. So I'm going to come back onto your screen. Here we got an exclusive from the iNews guys. Jim Toy is here. Good to see you, Jim. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Buy me a coffee. Is that where you buy a blue hearts? Yeah. So if this is entirely up to you, there's no pressure to do so, buddy. Sorry I don't have super chats yet, but that if you guys want to help me do that, remember, like, share, subscribe, all that kind of stuff, guys. I'm just going to scroll up just a little bit to see what you guys are saying. Everyone's still saying hello, everyone. I think Rumble was banned here. Yeah, you said that, Joe. I'm pretty sure it's not available in Portugal. Certain countries don't have it because it's quite rhetoric. Very good discussion on social media, and Max. Oh, thanks, Colin. Yeah. Yeah, I hope he hears that. I really hope he does. You know, one of the most. Everyone's saying hello to everyone. Just good. Susie Davies gave your channel a shout out today. Oh, did they? Oh. I've been too busy doing content, and I need to make more time for the two Davies. I really do, Alistair Keir. You know, I'm really, but I'm terrible. I really am. I need to make more time for them. I think it's on Thursday. They have a 2 o'clock live stream, don't they? I will try and make time for that. I think I've got a job interview that day. Yeah, I think I've got a job interview that day. But I'll try to make time for it. I will try. Well, mind you, I've got tomorrow, so I can catch up on it there, to be fair. Duke Vengeance is here. Good to see you, Duke. Hope you're feeling better today. You shouldn't be so angry today. Why are you suffering from rage destruction? It should be a good day. We got rid of one Home Secretary. We got a new one. I guarantee DC won't be visiting Scotland in a hurry after his Queen paring down the phone comments. Haggis UK is excellent. Yeah, he is. Cameron is back, so the pork market fails due to scare pigs. Oh, we need to get Liz Truss back in now with the pork market stuff. Mind you, though, I'll tell you what I was really upset about before we just talk about this topic, guys. Theresa Coffey, when she was going in, I kid you not, she touched and stroked Larry the Cat on her way in to be sacked as Environment Secretary. Absolutely disgraceful. I just hope that someone sprays down Sir Larry the Cat and disinfects those terrible hands that were put on this poor Larry the Cat. Absolutely disgraceful. So I just wanted to put that out there. As far as I'm aware, Larry the Cat is all right after being stroked by Theresa Coffey and those hands of her. So let's get to the articles, guys. So this is an exclusive for My News, guys. Inside David Cameron's return, he'll be on hand for the big decisions after secret deal by William Hague. Even the Foreign Office was taken by surprise when David Cameron turned up to Downing Street. And I was actually watching it live when the door was opened, and on Sky News when the door was open and he actually appeared there, and I was like, oh my god. Like I was flabbergasted when that door opened and I saw him. Like the Sky team was just as flabbergasted as I was. You know, they didn't even see it coming. That was the thing, which is quite crazy. So David Cameron's astonishing return to the political front was such a closely guarded secret. Only a handful of people inside Downing Street and in Buckingham Palace, where the King had to rubber stamp the appointment, knew about it in advance. It was only when the former Prime Minister stepped out of his car beyond the Downing Street gate just before 9 AM on Monday that civil servants and the Foreign Office had an inkling that he might be getting a new boss. Given the appointment with such a political bombshell, it was essential that the approach to and negotiate with the one-time Tory leader had to be shrouded in mystery. The idea to bring him back was the Prime Minister himself. It is understood. So I'll just before I carry on as well, Phil made a great point. Phil from A Different Bias, if you haven't checked out his stuff, he made a great point that this is a great distraction, the appointment of David Cameron, from Suella Braverman's sacking. It's a nice. It takes the air of news away from Suella Braverman and kind of highlights it on him. I'm trying not to sneeze right now, guys, if you're wondering what I'm doing. I think it's passing. I think so. Maybe. I can't tell. Sorry, I can't. Oh, I apologise. Okay, it's passed. Losing my train of thought. So, yeah, I've lost my train of thought now. I'm gone. So, yeah, obviously, David Cameron, obviously, there was a couple of reasons behind David Cameron's appointment. So, the first was, of course, the whole to overshadow Suella Braverman's sacking, because he didn't want the talk to be all about Suella Braverman. So to kind of put David Cameron in that position was one way of kind of like making the media talk about him as opposed to talking about Suella Braverman and the damage that she's caused, to kind of push that all into the back shroud of the newspapers, make David Cameron the front and centre of the media landscape. The other reason, of course, is to stick the knife into all the far right Brexiteers as well, because as you guys know, David Cameron is, of course, he was the leader of the Remain campaign for the Brexit referendum, as you guys remember. It really has been a very bad day for the right wing Brexiteer lot. They really have been pushed out here. So it's pretty. Yeah, it's a pretty big push, to say the least. But we'll have a look at the Cabinet Shuffle, to say the least there. I just bought you 5 coffees. Has it come through? Oh, thank you, Jim. You didn't have to do that, honestly. I can't look right now because I'm live streaming, but I will have a look, I promise. But yeah, thank you if you have. I really appreciate it. I will drop a message in the comments after the live stream just to let you know, okay? But thank you if you have. I really do appreciate it. Hugh says cats can smell a mile away. Sensitive, smelly cats. How are you, Hugh? Good to see you, buddy. I hope you're doing well. Poor Larry, says Rose. Yeah, poor Larry. Haggis with a capital, if you don't mind. Oh, okay. Haggis with a capital, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Might have kids there. Corella deserves a nice holiday in Rwanda forever. Well, it might not go through on Wednesday, so they might not be able to put it on the plane. Anyways, let's go back to it, guys. It is believed that the new Lord David Cameron, whose friends said it had been known for a long time that he wanted another role in public life, had been appointed by Rishi Sunak via William Hague, who served as the Foreign Secretary in the Cameron-led coalition and his political mentor of the current Prime Minister about the possibility of returning to government. The prospect of Lord Hague as a deal broker is intriguing because Lord Cameron's role inside Downing Street is likely to be as similar to the one of the former Foreign Secretary held in the coalition, not only as a senior cabinet minister but a more experienced wise counsel on hand to advise the younger Prime Minister. It is a bit weird like that. It's a bit like having you're the Prime Minister and your big brother has come in as a lower end appointee, isn't it? You know, that's kind of how I see it. You know, it's like the adult. There's an adult in the room now to talk to him in a weird sort of way. Do you understand what I mean? It does feel like that. Guy Killingham, former advisor to Lord Cameron, said, I think he will perform a similar role that Hague did for when he was PM, offering the council has been there and done that. I suspect he will be in the room for the big decisions and also believe in public service and want a role in public life. So from that perspective, it is unsurprising. He's already getting... When you're a Prime Minister, don't you get a lifetime pay from being a Prime Minister? So now he's going to get a lifetime pay from being a Lord too. Is he not? And correct me if I'm wrong here, but he's going to be racking in the money for being a Lord and because he was an ex-Prime Minister. Having been made aware for some time of his interest in a return, a formal approach to the former Prime Minister came as recently as last Thursday, according to one Tory insider. Number 10 only began thinking about hiring Lord Cameron on that day in the wake of Suella Braverman's incendiary Times article about pro-Palestinian protests as part of a bid to change the narrative, according to the insider. Downing Street sources refused to comment on this account. The move is also evidence from competing factions in Downing Street, crediting Adam Isler, Lord Cameron's former deputy political director, who re-entered Number 10 as a special advisor in September, as James Forsyth, Mr Sunak's political secretary, as being driving force behind the move. The insider said some of Mr Sunak's long-serving aides, led by Chief of Staff Liam Bowe-Smith, had devised the strategy of painting the Prime Minister as the change candidate with moves such as scrapping the HS2 to Manchester. Yeah, it seems like the tone really changed quite quickly. It wasn't that too long ago he was criticising Rishi Sunak on the scrapping of HS2. Meanwhile, Mr Asoni, Mr Forsyth and others who want to recreate the 2015 election victory with the Tories, best hope being a slim majority, and who better to do that than Mr Cameron himself. But a third faction led by election supremo Ivavyk Livivinko, who was behind the simplified 5 pledges plan to deliver on what voters were most concerned about, with next year viewed as the point when Mr Sunak would be able to turn the polls around. There is definitely a divergence of views on strategy, the insider said. Conservative MPs in any seat will be worried. Changing your message is disastrous. It's a bit like a trolley. It looks like a panic because the polls aren't changing. In his new role, Lord Cameron will lead British efforts to pursue a two-state solution for Israel and the occupied Palestinian territories as his top priority, insiders say. Well, I hope he's going to deal something. I hope he's going to prioritise the war in Ukraine too. You know, let's not forget them. Significantly, Mr Sunak's major foreign policy speech on Monday evening was expected to stress the importance of restoring the Middle East peace process, and Lord Cameron will drive this forward. His predecessor, James Cleverly, has done an excellent job, senior government sources said, but Lord Cameron was brought back on the lead of the peace process given his experience in the region and a former world leader. George Osborne says that part of Lord Cameron died inside when he stepped back from frontline politics in 2016. Speaking to Ed Balls on their podcast Political Currency, don't watch it, don't listen to it. They're not trustworthy. It's a lot of hogwash. Don't go out your way to listen to it, guys. A long-term political friend and ally of the new Foreign Secretary said Lord Cameron would be doing everything he can to win the Conservatives a 5th term. Mr Osborne says there is a kind of strong element of public service in David, and that has always been part of his DNA. And I always thought that when he left the House of Commons, which was not in his original plan, he wanted to stay as an MP. I think he wanted some sort of serve out his time on his planet as an MP for Whitney. Then he decided he shouldn't do that, and he couldn't do that, but there was a bit of him that, with that result, that died inside, which was the public service element. Oh, get off. Which he tried to fill with other things, like his very important work for Alzheimer's, but it wasn't the same. Ugh. I'm not going to read any more of this. I don't want to hear what they've got to say, if I'm honest, guys, and I'm pretty sure we don't want to hear what George Osborne and Ed Balls have to say on it, to be fair, guys. But it's interesting stuff, to say the least. Right, I'm going to switch. Before I'm going to come to the chat, guys, I'm going to remind you of just how vile the former Home Secretary was, guys. Prepare for your ears.
And the British people are a compassionate nation, and of course we must do everything necessary to support those who are genuinely homeless. But at the same time, we must make sure that we don't go down the same route as some cities in the US, like San Francisco or Seattle, where living in a tent has become a lifestyle choice, and with it has brought drug use, criminality, and antisocial behaviour. But we will not...
What? Lifestyle choice? Yeah, it's a lifestyle choice. Apparently, Suella Braverman, now unemployed, is now a lifestyle choice, according to Piers Morgan. Something that I'm inclined to agree with, guys. Do you agree with Piers Morgan that Suella Braverman, now unemployed, or stepping back, shall we say, is a lifestyle choice?
Not be able to sustain an asylum system if, in effect, simply being gay or a woman or fearful of discrimination in your country of origin is sufficient to qualify for protection.
What on God's green earth right does she have to say that? Why does it matter? Why does that matter? Can anyone answer that? Tell me, please do.
Women have no place in women's wards or indeed any safe space relating to biological women.
Wow. Just really?
Just rapidly looked online.
This was the part where she stepped on a dog's tail, and for the first time in her life, she actually apologised, believe it or not.
Unaware until a few minutes ago. I don't think any dogs were harmed in the filming of my visit, but let me just issue for the record an apology to all dogs.
So she apologised to all dogs, but not that specific dog that she stepped on. Let's just put that on the record, guys. So she didn't even say sorry to the dog. Wow.
Be clear that these are hate marches. They are
hate marches. Marching for peace. They're hate marches, guys, apparently.
I think chanting of jihad on the streets of Britain in the 21st century is utterly despicable. It's a deeply entrenched and complex problem. That's a simple answer. And I would love to be here saying, well, claiming victory. I would love to be having a front page of the Telegraph with a plane taking off to Rwanda. That's my dream. That's my dream. It's
when
my
will
obsession.
that happen?
It's a Labour.
Oh, the dream will officially die this Wednesday, guys. This Wednesday, her dream is going to die. Oh, the humanity. Now, this is the laughing one. I love the reaction on the opposite benches when she's saying all this nonsense. This is ridiculous beyond belief.
Party. It's the Lib Dems. It's the coalition of chaos. It's the Guardian reading, tofu eating, wokerati, dare I say, the anti-growth coalition that we have to thank for the disruption that we are seeing on our roads today. Madam Deputy Speaker, I urge opposition MPs and members of the other place to take this second chance, do the right thing, respect the rights of the law-abiding.
Absolutely bonkers, guys. She is absolutely bonkers. And just that clip alone, guys, and there's probably more out there, to be fair, guys, but just listening to all those clips and highlights just reminds us just how controversial, how out of touch, put me back on because I'm sure you guys are sick of seeing it, how controversial, how out of touch, and one of the biggest points was made. And our good friend Robespierre highlighted this in a video today with Yvette Cooper talking, is that Rishi Sunak hired her. Rishi Sunak hired her as Home Secretary when she was sacked as Home Secretary under the insane lettuce known as Liz Truss. Liz Truss sacked her. Remember that. Yeah, let's remember that. Rishi Sunak appointed her, and it's very important that we remind people that, hey, when it comes to the general election, to remind people, hey, she all these things, she was allowed to get away with it because he appointed her, and it's very important to highlight that. So it's just as much, yeah, as on David Cameron all this as this is on Suella Braverman, and it's important to remember that because he must take the brunt. He must just as much take the brunt as anyone else here. I'm just going to scroll up just to see who's in the chat. Cruella deserves a nice holiday. Yep. Cruella in the Rwanda jungle. Get me out of here. No, I do not want. Well, if she wants to go on there, she can. I honestly don't care. Jeff Taylor's fans are not happy about Cameron. Oh dear, the humanity. Haggis is the great chieftain in the pudding race, says Mark. That's great. It sure is. It's a great line. I love that. Jao says Cruella in Rwanda would be exporting toxic waste and highly faultable by international law. I can't do that. Nobody would trade with us. Oh. Okay. Undermining Starmer only in your wildest dreams, says Duke. Yeah, but interesting. Is there PMQs this Wednesday? It'd be interesting to hear how Keir Starmer responds to all of this. Hugh says, I drank too much red wine at the weekend. I'm feeling it now. You probably might want a bottle more now after all this. Jao, plug in all the channels. Really appreciate that, buddy. Thank you. Blair to be humanitarian envoy to Gaza, I heard. Yeah, I have heard about that. That's an interesting one. I'm not interesting to say the least. Well, I think he was in Israel recently. Could be wrong. Mediocre lawyer, medicoic. I can't say that other word. Supertansky has a new one up. I see dyspopia warning. I just didn't have it ready in time. I would have added it to today's show, but I didn't have enough time, Hugh. I'll watch it later. UK has a higher rate of homelessness than the USA, though. Yeah, that's not good, Steve. Yeah. Jal says, even a lawyer, it seems seriously doubts about her qualifications. Suffice to say, she would not be able to work as a lawyer in most of Europe. Yep, that's true. Setting up a narrative for the future, says Jeannie. Yep, well, yep, the way it was put. Couldn't agree more. Humble is here. Good to see you, Humble. Hope you're doing well. My area looks like Bombay, thanks to her. Oh, yeah, she's problematic for sure. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good weekend. Cruella, give her a little boat to Rwanda. Well, the problem is, Joe, you can't ship the boat all the way to Rwanda because it's a landlocked land, so that's not gonna work technically. She's bonkers. Speaking codes, Suella Blabbermouth. Bye bye. Thank God she will be gone. Time for another mug of coffee, says Hugh. Good timing for that. Isn't there a good football song to send her off? Yeah, there is, but I ain't singing it. I'm not going to sing. No, sorry. The Tories are more split than ever. Sunak is trying to apply the Torquay with Cameron, but the bleed is unstoppable. Hello, Vince. Oh yeah, Vincent. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're well. Hope you had a good weekend. By the way, hi. Hope you're doing well. She had a dream to sing, to help her cope with anything. If you see the wonder of a fairy tale, you can take it to the future. Even if you fail, I believe in Brexit and Tory schemes. Such a shame a wee Scott dog is not here with a poem right now. We really could do with one of his poems right now, guys, don't you think? Okay. Rishi Sunak's Cabinet Reshuffle. Who is in the Prime Minister's Cabinet, guys? So this is from the BBC, guys. So they've got a nice kind of setup here to kind of to show the cabinet. So we're gonna just have a quick look. So obviously, I know you can't stand the faces. I know, guys. I know. I know you're going to say it in the chat, but yeah. So Sunak, Prime Minister. Oliver Downs still Deputy. Jeremy Hunt is still the Chancellor. James Cleverly went from Foreign Secretary to now Home Secretary. So James Cleverly, is he clever enough to be the Home Secretary? Only time will tell. Obviously, the big story, of course, is David Cameron is now the Foreign Secretary. Graham Sharps is the Defence Secretary. Alex Chalk, Justice Secretary. New Health Secretary, Victoria Atkins, has come in. We've got a story. I think we've got a story on Victoria Atkins, potentially. Oh, no, maybe not her, but maybe another one. But is she going to make a difference when it comes to the strike deals with the NHS, guys? I don't think so. I don't have much hope of that. I believe she might have connections to one or two private companies as well that will probably benefit her. Kemi Baganoff's still there. Penny Morton's still here. Mel Stride, Work and Pension Secretary. Gillian Keegan is still Education Secretary. Steve Barclay is now the Environment Secretary. So there's a bonus there. So Theresa Coffey is no longer there. Thank the Lord. So be happy about that, guys, that Theresa Coffey is gone. But is Steve Barclay going to clean up the sewage? I'd like to think so. I'm not holding my breath on that. Tory, don't get taser. Good to see you, buddy. I hope you're doing well. I hope you had a good weekend as well. Mark Harper, the Transport Secretary there. Michael Gove, Level Up Secretary. Lucy Fraser, Culture Secretary. Simon Hart is the Chief Whip. I'm pretty sure that one changed as well. Let's just scroll up and just see. The roles changed. So James Cleverly, Steve Barclay, and John Glenn, they are the changed roles. So Steve Barclay, obviously Environment Secretary, and John Glenn is now Paymaster General. The new to the cabinets here. Well, that's it. Esther McVey we'll talk about in a bit. Laura Trott is Chief Secretary to the Treasury, and Richard Holden is the party chairman, and of course David Cameron, guys. So those are there. I know you can't stand the faces, guys. I know it's driving you crazy. Okay, well, I'll take them off. But yeah, I do have a funny video, but it won't be till the end, guys. I only had 2 funny videos today, unfortunately, because didn't have enough. FY is here. Good to see you, FY. Good to see you. I hope you had a good weekend as well. Coffee down the drain. Yep, it looks like it. But will the swamp be drained of all the sewage that is in the sea? I think that's a question we need to ask ourselves. So let me make sure if I got the right article, the right right setting here. So this one from The Guardian, guys. So that, oh, excuse me, I'm just going to switch this one here from The Guardian. So Sunak is seeking to appease the Tory right by giving Esther McVey a ministerial role. The GB News presenter appointed Cabinet Office Minister reportedly to lead the government's anti-woke agenda. What? Anti-woke? What is this all about? So Rishi Sunak has attempted to appease the right wing of these parties by appointing Esther McVey as a Cabinet Office Minister. The GB News presenter, who was one of the first to be ousted from the 2019 Conservative leadership race, is reported to have been tasked with leading the government's anti-woke agenda, acting as the common sense to start. The term I saw, the term that I heard on Twitter is the common sense minister. Guys, she is the common sense minister. So that means that nobody in the cabinet has common sense except her. I'm not joking, by the way. That is what people are saying. She is the common sense minister. It's not an official title, but that's what people are saying. McVey's appointment officially as a minister without a portfolio is one of the final moves of the Prime Minister's wider reshuffle, which kicked off in Suella Braverman being sacked from his cabinet. Braverman had long frustrated Number 10 off of her cuff comments, but she was removed on Monday in her article published in the last 30 times. Yeah, we know about that. Perception. Here, McVey said last week that she believed Braverman was feeling very vulnerable and attempted to show up more support on the right of the party so Sunak could not sack her. She told GB News at the time, "I think that the immigration problem hasn't been solved, so what she needs to do is, as she sees it, is shore up a base on the right side of the party, so one that Rishi can't naturally reach out to." What she's saying is, you can't get rid of me, there's a reshuffle coming forward, and she's saying, I'm going to be quite out there, I have to stay in. And with Braverman out, the likes of David Cameron, Laura Trott and Victoria Atkins in the party, many of the party's right wings have seen the reshuffle as an attempt to move the party out into the centre ground. So it's an attempt, obviously, this is actually, regardless of how you feel, guys, this is actually a very good position for Rishi Sunak, because, and make no mistake about it, the polls will start going towards Conservative between now and the next general election. It will. People will see this reshuffle, and some people will see David Cameron's appointment as a step in the right direction for Conservative voters. The polls, you will see a change in polls. Not a big swing, not a massive swing, but you will see some change. I expect a certain change of some sorts, because it shows that Rishi Sunak is preparing this cabinet for a general election. This is an election cabinet, is what this is. And he has to make do with what he's got. And I think the North is lost, but to shore up the strong Conservative seats and those strong Conservative voters, and to try and keep them out of Reform UK's clutches, I think is going to be the other challenge is going to be as well from that thing as well. So Andrea Jenkins said, "Enough is enough. It's time for Rishi Sunak to go," and submitted the letter of no confidence to the 1922 committee. She said that forcing Boris Johnson out was unforgivable enough before criticising the removal of Braverman as the only person in the cabinet with the balls to speak to the truth of the appalling state of our street and the two-tier politicking system that leaves the Jewish community in fear of their lives and their safety. As of the time of this recording, I don't know if any of you guys have seen any others, she is the only one who has publicly submitted a letter of no confidence to the 1922 committee. And she's on her own. Now, I'm actually... Oh, excuse me. I wanted to go back... Oh, where is it? Yeah, here it is. Yeah, I'm going to go back to Twitter, guys, because I want to share this little clip here, actually. And I will come back to the chat in a moment, but I just wanted to share this one from Sky News. I'm pretty sure this is the one, which relates to the so-called right-wing side of the party still.
Welcome back to Downing Street. The so-called New Conservatives group of MPs has been meeting this evening. Our chief political correspondent, John Craig, is in the central lobby of the Houses of Parliament. So, John, just tell us who they are and why they are so significant this evening.
Well, they don't appear to be very significant this evening because the meeting, which is still going on, is very thinly attended. So much for the fury of the Tory right at the sacking of Suella Braverman. There's only about 8 or so, possibly 10 Tory MPs inside Committee Room 7 at the moment. They claim that there are more joining the meeting on Zoom. However,
do you believe that, guys? Do you think they're gathering in huge numbers on Zoom and not actually attending in person? What do you guys generally think?
The Tory MP Andrea Jenkins has said tonight that she's written to Sir Graham Brady, who chairs the 1922 committee, saying enough is enough. And she accuses Rishi Sunak of, she says in her letter, enough is enough. If it wasn't bad enough that we have a party leader the party members rejected, the polls demonstrate the public reject him, and I'm in full agreement. It's time for Rishi Sunak to go. His Machiavellian involvement in getting rid of our democratically elected leader, Boris Johnson, who bravely fought for Brexit.
Bravely fought for Brexit, guys. He fought for Brexit.
When Parliament was in deadlock. But she's a lone voice so far as we know. The Tory MPs who are upstairs in that committee room, one of the smaller committee rooms, well, significantly, Lee Anderson is there. This is the New Conservatives group who claim to be putting forward a brand of full-throated right-wing conservatism. Lee Anderson, the deputy chairman, is there. Miriam Cates, Tom Hunt, Simon Clarke, and Gareth Bacon, the only ones I've seen go in and out. However, they do claim to speak for a certain section of the party. As for Suella Braverman, we're expecting her to speak on Wednesday, the day of the Supreme Court ruling on the small boats.
And I can imagine that she will be unleashing a full wrath of rage, of terror on Rishi Sunak, without a shadow of a doubt, guys. But yeah, just wanted to share that one out there, guys. Yeah, it's I don't think it's a case of its full explosion, but this is a real gear change for Rishi Sunak and his and his cabinet. It is also in a way it's brave as well, because like he's got nothing to lose. Like, the polls are against him. Like, everyone is against him, so he might as well just go for it at this point, you know. And if he salvages seats, yeah, for the Conservative next general election, then he can say, well, at least he's full. Don't get me wrong. a part of me is a little bit fearful, because David Cameron is a very smart man, and he will be a very powerful mind in that cabinet room, in the ear of Rishi Sunak. So make no mistake about it, you know. Just because the polls right now are strongly in favour of Conservative, there's a lot of anger at the Conservative government and the way they've handled a lot of things. Partygate, COVID, 13 years of austerity. There's a lot of things there. But there are also a lot of British people who are unfortunately misguided, a bit silly, even forgetful, and that could potentially... I wouldn't go as far to say it could stop Labour getting into power, but it could certainly potentially cause some harm. So I would say just wait and see what the polls say, guys, because they will start closing the gap. I do generally believe that, as crazy as it sounds. I'm just going to scroll up in the chat just to see what you guys are saying. Simon Hart looks like a football manager. Can't remember which one. I know politicians do not need to appear human, but this is ridiculous. Yeah, those pictures are so fake. I know those pictures look so fake. Coffee won't fit the drain. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Simon Hart has been chief whip for a year now. One of the nearly MP Cameron West and South Pembrokeshire, says you. Why is this strange hostility to wokes in the UK? Don't people like Chinese food? I know, I like Chinese food, Jao. I'm with you, mate. I like Chinese food. Jeannie Bottle says, Cruella will now write a book. Poetry, Cruella's rhymes and crimes. Only to a plain career. One day here, the next gone again. Esther McVey says FY. Yes, Esther McVey, yes. Can't wait to listen to it. Jeannie Bottle will do the reading. Oh yeah, Estergate. You could get to Rwanda by boat through the Mail down the Nile. Oh, yeah. Be a bit of a challenge, though. To be fair, be a bit of a challenge. Well, they were in meetings during COVID, so wink, wink, says Jow. Yeah, they weren't there then. But wasn't Keir Starmer having plenty of what was it? Curry and beer and curry as well, wasn't he? I still want if cross fingers if Keir Starmer wins the next general election, guys. I seriously just want him to, in front of all the cameras, have a beer and a curry in front of them. I want him to do it, and I want it on the front pages because I really want him to stick the knife into the Daily Mail. You know, I want him to have a beer and curry. I really, really do. I just want that plastered all over the front page. So, Keir Starmer, beer and curry, sticks it back to the Daily Fail. Really, really do. Boris and Bravely is a scientific improbability. Mark Willie says there's a bit of rude saying with the trade team in Scotland. And that is that you can only that's where the Tories are. Okay. I'll let you guys in the chat figure out what those words are, what Mark's saying there. Squeak, squeak. Yep, rats leaving the stinking ship. Zugawag, that is where the Tories are. Go forward or go back. The outcome damages them anyway, says Jow. Cameron, the man who Wise Council brought about Brexit, saved the party. Oh, the irony. Casper is here. Good evening, Casper. I hope you're doing well. I hope you had a nice weekend as well. Tories are backwards and going forwards. Old Welsh saying, says Hugh. The manager heart reminds me of his Brian Clough. Ah, Clough. Those were the days. I love curry. I had a mate from Goa, says Joe. Oh, good. Well, maybe we could do. Maybe we should have like a Snowflake show with me and Lee just sitting there. We'd have a beer and curry or something. Maybe we should do that, guys. Maybe we should do that. So I've got one more actual story for you guys. We've been running through quite a lot of it, to be fair. Let me make sure we got this one. Could I use this one? Nope. Just give me 1 second. I can use this one, I suppose. So I wanted to get a bit of coverage from outside the UK mainstream media on reports of what's happening, guys. So I just wanted to have a look at this. Some of it is going to be rehashed what we've already talked about and discussed. But this one is from Al Jazeera because I wanted to kind of get an outside perspective because I think it's always good, guys, that we don't always read the same British tabloids, especially on something as big as this, that sometimes reading from the outside point of view can give us a different perspective on things and give us an idea of what the outside are saying. So, there are plenty of news outlets could be, but I wanted to get Al Jazeera's perspective on this. So what does David Cameron's return to the UK politics mean for the Middle East? The former PM has called Gaza a prison camp and advocated for a two-state solution, but he's also a staunch backer of Israel. So, the unexpected return of the former UK Prime Minister David Cameron to British politics during Israel's war on Gaza and pro-Palestinian protests in Britain has sparked questions over the implications of the UK politics towards the Middle East. Cameron, now Foreign Secretary, has briefly called the Gaza Strip a prison camp and advocates for a two-state solution to the Israel-Palestine conflict. But he has also been a staunch backer of Israel. On October the 9th, as Israel announced a total blockade on Gaza and pummeled the enclave in retaliation for a surprise attack 2 days earlier by armed Palestinian group Hamas, the 57-year-old made pronouncement in favour of the Jewish state. This is his tweet, guys. So this is what he tweeted when it is. Thoughts and prayers go out to Israel, yada, yada, yada. So obviously... just to put out there, just for context, just in case, just to say, what happened on that day was absolutely deplorable, as we guys all know. I don't need to reiterate it, but you guys know my position on that. But yeah, he's in complete solidarity with Israel. But is he still now as Foreign Secretary? That's the question. Obviously, hundreds of thousands of protesters marched in London in solidarity with Palestinians over Gaza over the weekend, with a small number of far-right groups staging counter-protests. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak sacked the Home Secretary on Monday after she drew anger for accusing police of being too lenient with pro-Palestinian protesters and making the comments described as inflammatory. He replaced David Cameron with the Foreign Secretary James Cleverly before announcing Cameron as Cleverly's surprise replacement. Ben Whittenham, Professor of International Relations of the School of Oriental and African Studies in London, the SOAS, said that while Cameron was expected to strike a more conciliatory tone, he would not be favourable to Palestinians in the conflict. Certainly, it's like senior Conservative politicians, he's broadly going to side with Israel and his alienating right to carry out the offensive in Gaza, he told Al Jazeera. Whittam said Cameron's appointment was also aimed at healing some of the divisions within the Conservative Party. He is seen as having strong ties to strategic economic partners in the Middle East, including an ongoing personal relationship with Saudi Arabia's leadership, Whittam said. Now that's a key thing. So Saudi are having a strong leadership with Saudi Arabia. But one of the nations, obviously, that's one of the tiebreakers in negotiations between Hamas, America, Israel, and that is Qatar, because Qatar have direct communication with Hamas, and that's where kind of it's more trying to get to settle something with them to try and broker something. So during his tenure as Prime Minister from 2010 to 2016, Cameron criticised Israel's illegal settlements in the occupied West Bank and blockage of the Gaza Strip. Gaza cannot and must be allowed to remain a prison camp, he said in his visit to Turkey in 2010. So this is what he said back in 2010. So it's important to remember past messages that people say. So Israel will not forget that. However, as Palestinians in Gaza benefit from the fleeing ceasefire that temporarily halted the one of deadly bombardments in the enclave in 2014, his party rejected calls from a coalition member to re-examine arms export licenses to Israel should the fighting resume. This was also a big thing as well, because people were calling for the arming of Israel to stop, and he didn't go that far. I would say probably people on the inside with links to Israel were probably saying you can't. Israel's newspaper Harassers cited the episode among the reasons why Cameron was the most pro-Israel British Prime Minister ever, snatching the horrific title from arguing supporters like Gordon Brown and Tony Blair as unabashed admirers of the Zionist divina of the calibre of Margaret Thatcher and Howard Winston. In many ways, he sees the Middle East very similarly to Netanyahu, Harass says, referring to the current Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who has also held office from 2009 to 2021. Since last month, Netanyahu has repeatedly refused a ceasefire in Gaza and has promised to wipe Hamas off the face of the earth in an area on ground offensive that has killed more than 11,200 Palestinians. Yeah, we don't really want to talk about that, but yeah. Is there any more to add here? Just seeing if there's any really more to add there. Just going to see, according to Whittam, the former Prime Minister's personal ties with Saudi Arabia has played a decisive role in the political reinstatement. Cameron was among a handful of leaders, including the former Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro and the former US presidential senior advisor Jared Kushner, to travel to Saudi Arabia in 2019 for the Davos in the Desert Summit. We have a pillar in British foreign policy in the Middle East that is becoming more important in the post-Brexit context, which is of these foreign strategic allies outside of Europe, like Saudi Arabia, are really important, Whittam said. Maintaining good relations with these partners comes above everything else, he added, and Cameron was seen very much as a continuously candidate in that respect. Cameron has been a supporter of using British military powers to defeat groups regarded as terrorists in the Middle East in 2014. Such as ISIS, to sort and establish capability in Iraq and Syria. He warned that the West faces having an extremist state on the borders of the Mediterranean if ISIL succeeded in its goals. His government agreed to extend airstrikes into Syria from Iraq, where he voted in favour of an invasion where he put to the British Parliament in March 2003. Probably the most controversial foreign policy decision during Cameron's time as Prime Minister was the decision to use extrajudicial killings in Syria, which inaugurated a programme of drone strikes that continues to this day, Whittam said. Yeah. Since his resignation in 2016 after his unsuccessful bid to Britain to remain European Union, Cameron's Middle East policy has been reviewed to found to have a lasting impact on the region. In 2011, when Britain and France intervened in Libya, Cameron's government said that the operation was aimed at protecting civilians under fire from long-term Libya Colonel Gaddafi, Muhammad Gaddafi, but the Foreign Affairs Committee later analysed the decision and found it he had relied on flawed intelligence and hastened the North African country's political and economic collapse. The parliamentary report concluded that Cameron had a decisive role in the decision to intervene and must bear responsibility for Britain's role in the crisis in Libya. Much like the former US President Barack Obama, Cameron opened the path to the use of legal force in parts of the Middle East, Whitlam said. Cameron had demonstrated that he is quite keen on the military intervention in the region, he said. I wouldn't want to speculate on whether he will join the chorus of pro-Israel voices and potentially frame Hamas as an extension of ISIS. That will be down to the line Sunak takes, and Cameron will have to toe the line. And no, we do not want to watch a clip of her. So there's a bit of info, a bit of thoughts from a outside perspective, shall we say, on David Cameron. I'm going to, before we go to, because we are on the mark, I do want to talk. I'm going to talk a little bit. I'm just going to come to the chat before I talk about the incidents over the weekend, because I haven't directly talked about it or done a video on it since Sunday, because I have done some videos, but I want to talk a bit more about it with you guys. I don't have any video footage, but I'm just going to talk to you guys about it. But just going to scroll up in the chat to see. I am surprised they do not hold the sense to bring back Thatcherism to save them all. Well, apparently there was a tweet that someone saying that Thatcher was going to be brought back from the dead to brought into the party, but apparently that has not materialised yet. So allegedly. Football there. Sorry for getting lost in the rant. Just team. Okay, no, that's fine, Jow. Zigawati is a Creed language word for husband. Ah, okay. I probably not said the word right. It's a German term. Okay. Casper says, even TYT Sports covered the Suella story. The title was Karma Finally Catches Up with the Pride Monster. Oh, well, it's a bit cold. Well, the Pride Monster. Hugh says, remember that Cameron's that EU meeting with the leaders had a photo up and Cameron was just standing there on his own like David Nomad just after the Brexit referendum was announced. Yeah, I did read Retera's story on the British politics, and the EU were kind of like, the EU was like, okay, he's back, but this is the guy that done the vote for the Brexit referendum, but at the same time he is someone that's got he does have his head on as well, so there is that as well. I'm tired of seeing the news about Gaza. Yeah, I know. I didn't want to talk too much about it, but I was just looking at it for more from what Cameron's going to bring as Foreign Secretary. Masanati Ringer was named after someone born from where I am. Agreed, no war should kill kids or babies. Yes, 100% agree, Jeannie Ball, 100% agree. Right, so I did some videos, obviously, on Sunday with regards to Saturday and Sunday with regards to, so obviously we had on the weekend, we had the pro-Palestine protest, and then we had the far right thugs turn up, and they were absolutely despicable. I just want to say, obviously, there are going to be some videos coming up where I'm going to be criticising the police again for other stories, because they are generally stories and I'm not going to hide that. But I want to say that the Metropolitan Police, in what they did on the weekend, I thought they handled it tremendously well given the circumstances. Up to about 12, I think, police officers were injured by the attacks of the far right, who were claiming that they were trying to get to the cenotaph to protect it, apparently, from, I don't know, who were they protecting it from? What, from the pro-Palestinian protests that was taking place miles away from it? I'm just going to put that out there. So it was a very, I feel really bad for the police in that situation, because it was of no fault of their own because of the rhetoric by Suella Braverman, and it was a very difficult situation. Now, there was a video clips online as well. I don't know if you guys saw them. I would recommend, if you're not a subscriber to him, I would recommend checking out Van Man Talks. He did a video today with regards to the clips showing online of some really nasty. He didn't play the actual sound of the clips, but you can see them in it. The hate that was taking place, and he had some really powerful advice, which I'm going to share with you guys. And he basically said, like, take a break from social media because it can be really, really toxic. And I will say, guys, you know, it doesn't hurt to take a little bit of a break from social media every now and then, because it will help you. What those people at Waterloo Station did, brutally, like violently swearing and making racist remarks to people there, it was absolutely disgusting. It was very disheartening. There was one guy with an Arsenal shirt on as well. I don't know if you guys saw. Apparently, this has been confirmed by Arsenal Football Club that they are checking their footage to try and identify the man to have him banned from their stadium from all games, which is fantastic. And I hope the one or two of them have been identified apparently as well, which is one of them has been apprehended and is in jail as we well, not jail, but basically in custody as we speak. There's obviously still some out there who are looking to be are wanted still for some of their antics. These people, they have no idea. They just generally just go with what media and what papers are saying about people. These people have never had a proper conversation with someone from a different nationality, a different skin colour, and just had generally sit down conversation with them. And in a weird sort of way, guys, I want to say I actually feel sorry for these people, and I know that's a weird thing to say because of how evil and violent and desperate they are, guys. I've said this before in the videos, and I'm going to say it here, guys. Racism is not something you're born with, it's something you're taught. Hatred is not something you're born with, it's something you're taught. It is passed on from, whether it's from brothers, sisters, fathers, mothers, whatever. It's been passed on. It's always been passed on, and that's the problem. And while it continues to be passed on, we are always going to have these problems in society, not just here, but anyway in general, guys. And it's so important that we find the roots of the roots that are causing them and cut out the roots. My best analogy to think of it is to describe it, to think of it like a tree, guys. Yeah, think of it like of a tree. Yeah, no matter how much you can cut off as many branches of the tree you want, but that tree's still going to grow branches back, unless you cut from the bottom, like literally cut the log off. It's just going to keep growing branches. It's going to keep and you're just fighting an endless battle, guys. And that's what it is here. We have to stop it from we have to stop these kids, these young people, from being developed into these hatred, right wing, these poisoned minds. It's where that is where the root is coming from. You know, when we have things like the white supremacist group in America, like, you know, what caused World War II. You know, it's all psychology stuff, guys, and it is growing, and we still have that group of that here in the UK, as you guys know, and it's incredibly scary how a man like Tommy Robinson and people like the English Defence League to do what they did, and they're listening to one of the guys trying to talk about why they're there. He was talking about Muslims having ray guns or something, and I'm just like, do you even understand what you're saying? Do you even understand why you're here? Do you even understand what you're doing? Like, he had no understanding whatsoever of what he was doing and why. There were some who were talking to Politics Joe, who were basically saying that they're there to make sure that the cenotaph, they're going to watch the cenotaph and they're going to look after, make sure their own people don't cause any trouble. And they went and caused trouble anyway. So, like, these guys have no idea. They are living in their own bubble, and they refuse to come out of their own bubble and talk to other people. They really do, and it's so shameful. And it's a loss. That's a generation of people there that are lost by the mindsets that they have. And I feel sorry for them. I really do. I'd like to say to sit here and say that I can persuade them to come to sit down and talk to a black man, talk to a Palestinian person, talk to an Israeli, someone, and just have a conversation with them. But I don't think they will. I think they'll just stay in their mindsets, and they'll just believe whatever right-wing media outlet or whatever leader that they have behind them, and they'll just listen to it and not be prepared to sit down and have a general discussion with the other side. And we don't have that anymore. Is thuggery a lifestyle choice? I would say I wouldn't go as far to say it's a lifestyle choice. I would say some people are born into it. I think it's the best way to answer it, Vincent. Some people are born into it, you know. Some people are born into a lifestyle like that, and it's not a case that because I have the mindset that I have now doesn't mean I'll have the same mindset if I was born into one of their families. I'd probably be just like one of them, as sad as it sounds, because everyone everywhere is raised and treated differently. It's all about how they're raised as a child, you know, how they're spoken to, what they're taught, all these things, guys. You know, education is so important for children, and I sympathise so deeply with people who are down that road, guys. I really do. So yeah, just wanted to get that off my chest. So hope you guys enjoyed that little rant. So 10:10. I don't have any more. I've got one more video for you guys. Some nutter from Portsmouth wants to talk to us. But before we talk to this nutter from Portsmouth, I just want to say, guys, thank you guys so much for coming along today. I wasn't sure if I was going to get many numbers today just because another live stream is up and running at the moment. But I appreciate everybody coming along here. Thank you all so much for your support. If you can, hit the like button, be greatly appreciated. If you can, share across social media, share the stream across social media. Sharing really does help across other social media platforms. And if you hit the bell notification icon, guys, you'll be notified of when I go live or when I upload a video, guys. Obviously, if you guys want to know my schedule, check out the community post I posted this morning. All you have to do is go onto my tab and click on the community post and you'll see when I'm uploading. And I've got a new podcast starting this Monday called The Good News Vibe, where you're going to be seeing a good news story, something to put a smile on your face, guys, because we needed one. I had contemplated doing it today. I'm kind of glad I didn't post it today now, given everything that's going off. So I'm glad for that. But I'll be back, obviously, on Thursday with a Snowflakes Corner. But before we have that, we have tomorrow night will be Robespierre will be live streaming, so hopefully some of you guys, I'll see you guys there. Obviously Wednesday night, myself and Lee Corn, cross fingers there's no issues, we'll have the Snowflake show there, and we'll have plenty to discuss obviously there, as well as PMQs, and obviously talk a bit about the Cabinet Reshuffle and more details there as well. Snowflake Corner on Thursday. Friday I have the Speaking My Mind episode, another episode of that. The new podcast I just mentioned, and of course Regan's News Round will be on Friday at 6 p.m, not 3 p.m. So if you guys want to premiere and watch along with me in the chat for the premiere for that, it's Friday 6 p.m. Just going to remind you on that. Also, guys, just one or two other plugs. Like I said earlier in the live stream, for those who weren't here, I do content on Patreon. You do not have to join Patreon and pay £2 a month to watch that content. You get extra content if you do pay into that. Yeah, it's perfectly, it's there. If you want to financially support me, you can do that. But Patreon/REGANELITE, you can, basically all you've got to do is create an account, follow me on Patreon, and you can watch additional content on there. Same with Rumble. If you have access to Rumble, if you can get to Rumble, you can watch some content on there. On there at the moment, I'm only doing footage regarding Israel and Gaza. So if you want to hear more about it, I understand most of you don't, but if you want to and hear my thoughts about it and talk about it, you can check me out on Rumble there. And if you happen to have TikTok, if some of you are nuts enough and will listen to non-stop TikToks, yeah, I have a TikTok account as well, at REGANELITE as well, so you guys can check that out as well. So guys, thanks again for coming along. We've got this absolute nutter who wants to talk to us. He just won't go away. I don't know who gives him. I don't know why he keeps calling in, and I don't know when he's gonna be. He's gonna ever stop. But there we go, guys. Guys, thanks again for coming along. Much appreciated. Take care. Have a great week. Look after yourselves. Stay safe. You know. Let's hope the sooner we have a general election, the better, guys. Really do look after yourselves, guys, and I really appreciate all the love and support you guys have given me over the past 8-9 months since I started this channel. So it really does mean the world to me. Have I forgot anything else? No. Am I going to do an after chat? Maybe. We'll see. But here you go, guys. Here's the man from Portsmouth, and let's hear what he has to say with regards to the sacking of Braverman.
Portsmouth is on the line. Hello, Colin.
It's a dark day for
with humanity, mate. They say every time you clap your hands, a fairy dies.
Do they say that?
And today, the wokerati anti-growth far-left coalition, including lawyers, the police, and Rishi Sunak, have clapped their hands in unison and extinguished Brave Suella.
Well, getting fired is a lifestyle choice, Colin. You can't deny
Weep, Anthony, if weeping weren't such a sign of liberal weakness.
Well, writing that article did seem to be the straw that broke the camel's back.
And that's the problem with camels these days. They're spineless. It's not Suella's fault that she conducts policy over the newspapers instead of in the House of Commons. Is that a sackable offence?
Well, also her chief idea, the Rwanda scheme, seemed completely unworkable.
Unworkable? What's the matter with unworkable? Brexit was unworkable, but you didn't see anyone get fired over that. They all got made lords. Apart from Farage, who got an ITV gig for over £1 million. He could probably join Coots again.
Well, he can.
Suella, whatever you do next, the nation is right behind you. Whether it's leader of the Conservatives or a GB News show, whatever requires fewer votes. The future of our country is at stake. Anyway, mate, thanks for having me on. Love to the family.
Love to the family, Colin. Love to the family. Oh, David Cameron's got Foreign Secretary.
Well, good. He knows the club. It's in his DNA.
Thanks, everyone, for coming. Take care and good night.